Hello and welcome everyone to Crusader Kings 2, the Conclave patch and DLC. And I've been seeing a lot of questions on the internet. Well, how does the council work? How does this work? How does that work? And, well, today I'm going to go through some of the changes made by Conclave and the free patch that you get even if you don't buy the DLC. Basically what I'm saying is, a lot of the changes, mechanically speaking, have been added to your game whether you like it or not, essentially, with the latest patch, even if you don't have any interest in buying Conclave, which you really should because it's a good DLC. Now, let's begin with the first sort of thing here, is the council. Well, actually, no. First of all, the UI. If you loaded up the game from the start and tried to load in a save game, don't do it because they're not compatible, but you'll notice that the UI changes have been made pretty much from the get-go, and here we can see some of them. You can see them in laws, in technology, not so much, in vassals, that's all fine. Here is the same, like intrigue system, menu, sorry, is the same as well as the religion one. But council and laws, and as well as a few other minor things have been changed as well. Now, so let's begin with the council. Now, there's positions. This isn't your council. It used to be, I'm assuming you know this, but it used to be that this is your council. That's it, period. That's your council, deal with it. Now, these are your positions. So you have Chancellor, Marshal, you know, but they're all the same as previously. So let's deploy them, say, tech, scheme, collect taxes, train troops, and improve our relationship with that guy. I don't even know if he doesn't like me. Hey, I accidentally clicked on the correct person. Okay, good, great. By the way, I just loaded up a random new game. This isn't my save or anything. It should be fairly obvious, but I thought I might state that. Here's the thing. Other than that, you now have minor titles as a tab, and this is a really, really nice UI change. You can set your commanders here, and you have these two ticks, which is great. Take a look at the commanders. You can now give your vassals honorary titles through here. And I really did miss this in the previous patches. I really wished that minor titles were a separate tab on their own instead of this like drop-down menu, which was pretty atrocious. But it worked, and it was annoying above anything else. It was annoying to constantly go through that to give out minor titles, which aren't that important, but are often welcome opinion boost. So, now that that's been done, let's take a look at the actual council. This is a bit weird, because I had to move this microphone around to be able to read all this, because I'm standing actually fairly away from the screen, so let me move closer a little bit. These are your council members. The council is currently content. They need to be happy with you in order for you to boss them around, essentially. There's various different personalities of them, and usually in your council you should put, from what I'm seeing, at least initially, you should put your most powerful vassals there. Keep them happy, keep them powerful, keep them in the council, and all will be well. You can, first of all, the big button here that you notice is Enforce Realm Peace. Any direct vassals of yours, i.e. the 12 guys here in my example, if they're fighting between each other, any one of them, this button basically forces them to go to, forces a peace 3 months after you click it. So it gives them a little bit of time to finish up their battles, and then, you know, basically you enforce peace between them. Now, as far as the council members go, you can fire them and put new members in as you please. However, the ones you fire are going to be obviously not that happy about, well, getting fired, obviously. There's also various personalities. Glory Hound, obviously, people that... I say obviously way too much, I apologise, I'm going to change that. Glory Hound is essentially a person that likes prestige and fame and attacking bigger opponents and yeah, more powerful enemies than yourself. They like that. Okay, they are pro that that sort of decision making. Pragmatist is exactly what it sounds like. They will oppose strong vassals and seek support from the less powerful ones. They will support you attacking weak neighbours, because it's pragmatic. I mean, it's fairly obvious, right? There are also zealots, which, yes, you guessed it, they like holy wars and fighting against heretics and heathens, and will dislike other councillors and other council members and vassals that are heretics and heathens. How do they get these traits? You can't exactly tell. At least I'm pretty sure you can't. Obviously, a priest is mostly going to be a zealot, right? You take a look at their stats and their traits, and you can roughly determine what those guys are going to be. So let's take a look at my son. He is possessed. Great. He's brave, charitable, and a flamboyant schemer. Looking at his stats, he has 4 marital, 7 diplomacy, 5 intrigue. He's either going to be a pragmatist or a glory hound, probably a glory hound. Oh, would you look at that? He's a glory hound. So it's based somewhat on their traits. He's ambitious, so he's obviously going to be a glory hound, no question about that. So there you go. Generally, what sort of, what is the best, what's it called? Attitude, I suppose, trait for them to have here? Depends on your playstyle, as well as you don't actually get too much of a choice, because you want your most powerful vassals to be there, and, well, you don't often get a choice of what they're like. Ambitions remain more or less the same. Let me just pick one. Focus remains exactly the same. Okay? It does. For adults. Now, there's this thing called child's focus, is what it basically is. Education and childhood focus. Exhort subjects. That's new. That's new. Okay. Maybe I mentioned, maybe I didn't. I'm not going to go through every single change that made by Conclave. I'm going to go through the most noticeable ones and the ones that I see first, right? But I'm not going to go through all of them. It wouldn't make much sense. It really, really wouldn't. I'd need to open up a Word, a notepad or something on the side and go through each and every one of them. It would take too long, and I'm going to leave some for you to discover, some that are, you know, less important, I suppose. And besides, it will take me weeks to figure out exactly how everything works. And then, you know, min-max all of that. So, that aside, let's take a look at laws now, because, yeah. There's also a Liege Council. Shows an overview of your liege's council. That's if you're a lower vassal. That's important. If you're starting out as a duke or a count. But for the purposes of this demonstration, that is disabled. As I know, I have no liege. I am a sovereign ruler, shall we say? Okay. Laws. Laws are the second thing. UI changes again. Absolutely fantastic. I love the attention to detail as well. If you take a look at all of these, there's like. I think the colour is really nice, like the troops and everything. It's great. It's really, really, really great. And I have council as well. Yeah, it's very nice. The UI changes, if I had to describe this patch and this DLC in as few words as possible, UI changes would be how I begin describing it. Great UI changes. I have a claim on Italy. Might want to press that. Anyways. Moving on. Laws. They are now divided into inheritance, realm, obligation, and council. Fairly self-explanatory which one does what. We are right now a Carolingian hegemony. What does this mean? Well, if we... Actually, what does that mean? How do we check that? Our Carolingian is basically Gavelkind, right? Yep. Yeah, there we go. So we can change it to elective monarchy, seniority, or elective Gavelkind. I'd like to change it to elective monarchy. If possible, let's do that. And it's now elective monarchy. Great. Other laws that we can change. Here's the realm laws. is one that I'm going to talk about in detail, but let's skip that one and then talk about the rest first. Administration, feudal, late, and imperial. It says right there, late allows additional succession laws, which I'm very curious about, and I may actually see what they are, but for now you can add a law that allows you to revoke titles from people that betrayed you, and basically from scumbags in the realm. You can make that a law if you want. Centralization, it's pretty much the same, just under a shiny, neat, organized UI, which I absolutely adore. Controlled realm inheritance, free or illegal. Effect. Vassal titles can no longer pass outside the realm through inheritance. That's probably something you want. Investiture, papal are free, obviously. Not a lot of these things are new, but this one is. Status of women. Ooh, what is that, Juggernaut? The first time I saw this, I was like, well, hang on. Well, this is very controversial. Why is it controversial? Are you an idiot? Are you a sexist? No. Listen, Linda. I'm going to leave a video in the description, if I remember, and I probably will. Because I have confidence in myself. I'm going to leave a video in the description that talks about status of women in the medieval era. It's a short video by, I think, Lindy Beige did it. I'm going to put his video in the description, and watch that before you come here and act like a social justice warrior and give me shit about what I'm about to say. Preferably don't give me shit about what I'm about to say to begin with, but hear me out. First of all, it's amazingly fun to play with. Okay, this is great if you establish a big empire or a moderate empire or a kingdom. You get to play with this, get full status of women, and have a female monarch rule over your country, and have exclusively female monarchs rule over your entire nation for a very long time. That would be amazing. Historically, though, this is a bit iffy. Why? This is the early medieval period. We can get into the late medieval period, and then the game ends. Women didn't become heads of state until later on, and England was not the first, but is among the Western empires, was up there in the number of women that ruled the country, and they weren't exactly the first choice. Portugal, I know, had a female ruler, and Spain as well, but all this happened after the game's end, historically, so it is rather ahistoric to see status of women be a thing, and especially because I'm not sure how it works. I need hundreds of hours of testing to confirm this, but I'm pretty certain that the King of Bulgaria can go over to his laws and change it to full, or at least notable. And we can have a female King of Bulgaria. I guess that would be Queen then. It happened randomly in the game, yes, but you now risk that every once in a while you might see a random nation who's ruled exclusively by women. Not ideal. And a random nation every now and again whose council is made up of like 50% of women. Positions are like 50% women. I don't have anything against that, other than it's ahistoric. Don't get me wrong, it's extremely fun to play. I actually hit the microphone. Good job, Jug. I actually like it, it's fun to play, but, you know, a bit iffy, as I said. Obligation. Other than looking absolutely gorgeous, there's nothing to talk about here. Council. Council power. Abolish. Ruler has full authority over politics and laws. Effect. Laws cannot be voted on by the council. Disables the use of realm peace. So that's your flip side of council. You can either listen to it and have it be important, or be an absolute monarch and not listen to it, but you also run the risk of having some unwanted consequences as a result of that. War declarations by council or by ruler. I can see an empire running exclusively by, going exclusively with the council options. they're not great in terms of from a player perspective, right? Because you as a player generally don't want to be messing around with these guys and making sure each and every one of them supports you as a ruler to declare war on someone else. It's a bit stupid in that respect, from a perspective of gaming the game, I suppose. But from a roleplay perspective, this is actually really, really good. All of this. You can basically have the committee decide on everything. I missed something here. Malcontent. Councillor is unhappy with the current state of affairs. Yeah, that's what you want to avoid. A loyalist is what you want to have. So you want to change these guys from this to loyalist. There you go. Basically, it's not that complicated. Just follow what this says. For example, Glory Hound, we want to increase our prestige. It's minus 60. So we declare war for, I guess, the claim of Italy. We win it, and all of a sudden our council members, 3 of our council members... Try again. 3 of our council members are happy. There we go. Moving on. This is all pretty much the same. Interactions between rulers. You can now form an alliance without marriage. Which is, I think, the single greatest change in this DLC, and the free patch as well. I think so, yeah. It's a tough choice between this and the council, because some people like the council, some people don't. I think everyone is going to appreciate this alliance thing, and he doesn't want to form an alliance with me. Let's find someone who does. No, okay. You can still do marriage between, like, marry his daughter off to your son or something like that, and it still works, but you don't have to have 50 daughters to secure the alliances you want. You can just do it like this. I love that. That is a great feature. Absolutely love it. You can also buy favors from them, and the favor mechanics are fairly obvious if you think about it. They have some implications that you might not expect, but they're fairly obvious. You buy a favor from someone, he owes you. You can use that favor to, let's say, call him to war, to, let's say, sway his opinion on something if you're asking him. Let's say, I'm not sure if you can use it for a marriage or something like that. Let's find out. Dragonaut, you should have done this before recording the video. Yeah, shut up. Of course, he can not accept you buying a favor from him, but let's see. I just bought a favor from you. Okay. Let's see how that works, and as we wait for him to do that, I'm going to remind myself that I need to show the children off later as well, because they had a huge change happen to them as well, their education and childhood and everything. Yep. You owe him one favor. So you can force acceptance of an arranged marriage, educate child, end plot or stop backing plot. Force a acceptance of an invite to court proposal. Force acceptance of a call to arms. Force acceptance of ask to embargo proposal. Force someone to join faction you lead. Force your liege to give you a council position. Prevent a force or realm, blah blah. You can basically read it there. It has quite a few implications and is very important. Essentially, you might want to buy favors from someone powerful, or most importantly, perhaps this is going to see a lot more use in games where you have a liege. So you want your liege to owe you a lot of favors, so you can then get council positions, get land, get him to support you in every way, shape, and form, right? Okay. So, but you don't want anyone to owe you favors because it blocks you from certain things. For example, if you're going to pass a law he doesn't like, he may call upon that favor and be like, yo, nah, I say no. And you might have to respect his opinion. Then again, it makes me think you could actually kill him, can't you? You can go over here and be like, I don't like you. Screw you in particular. You owe me a favor. Oh, sorry, I owe you a favor. I'm going to repay it by killing you. You can do that as well, I suppose. More scheming. Exactly what we needed in a game whose scheming is so complicated, even it itself cannot keep track of all of it. Talking about the marriages and the cheating between marriages. Anyways, let's see. What else, other than the children? Nothing much, really. We talked about favours, we talked about that. Alliances, coalition against a common enemy that has grown too large. He apparently needs to have infamy of 25%. Fair enough. I'm not exactly sure how you gain infamy. Let's look that up. Where can I look that up? Infamy. Infamy of a measure how feared a realm is. If the value is above 25%, nearby rulers might form a coalition to hinder further expansion. It's essentially just like Europa Universalis. You had infamy there. If you ever played EU3, you had a stat called infamy. And if it was above a certain percentage, or above a certain amount of points, I think it was 40 to 50, something like that, then you get a huge amount of revolts and coalitions formed against you. In EU4, it's aggressive expansion that does that, but it's basically the same thing, only a different name for it. Yeah. So now there's that as well. It's leaning slightly more towards EU4 right now, this game, or EU3 to be more specific, with Infamy. But it makes sense. It absolutely does, and I think the game needed that. Because what I did is, what I did in my last game, I formed an empire about the size of that. Okay? Then I went and took over Spain, and nobody bothered to join and fight me. Fair enough, Europe was pretty broken at the time, but the Byzantines fought me. They fought me damn well. I beat them every time, but it was a very, like, the bloodiest wars I ever had was with them. And they couldn't ask anyone to help. I was taking over their land bit by bit. I was the most powerful country in the world at the time, because this was like, it looked just like this. So the world was pretty broken up. There's a huge amount of miniature states, no real world leaders apart from me and the Byzantines. And also there was, I think, Algeria or Egypt, something like that, had most of North Africa, which was pretty good. But other than that, there was, yeah, they had no way of forming alliances between them and trying to fight me, and I was expanding like crazy, like there's no tomorrow, not asking anyone for their opinion, right? It makes sense that we get this now. And it makes the game more challenging late game, because there comes a point in CK2 where you just snowball, and you're role-playing, you're doing silly stuff just to entertain yourself. It's no longer a challenge. With this, your neighbours and your rivaling countries and kingdoms are actually going to be a challenge. Especially if you expand too quickly. Now, is there anything else? Nope, I believe that's it. You can form a coalition against someone if their infamy is above 25%. Bearing in mind they can do exactly the same to you as to you too. So I'm going to make a jump cut here and go and show you the children and how they work. And we jump in as the ruler of Aquitaine. We take a look at what he's doing. He's not exactly doing anything too important. He has 2 children. Okay, let's pick an ambition just to get the pop-ups out of the way. And seduction, because it's most amusing to me. Borrow money from the Jews. Expel the Jews. The standard opening for every game, I suppose. Unmarried, let's marry him to... Oh, what is this? Ah, so marriage would result now, instead of alliances, it results in non-aggression pacts. Did I mention? I didn't mention that. Okay. Essentially, it's just flipped over between you. When you marry, you have an alliance. Now, when you marry, you have a non-aggression pact. You can also renegotiate the non-aggression pact and form it again with people if you wish to, but What I'd rather do is kill this person. Let's do that. Plot to kill. Absolutely. Okay. Not important. That's I guess worth mentioning. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's not a lot to discuss there, but will result in a rush back with Prince Gaton of Asturias, and fine, you look great. Let's marry you. I don't care. I'm not actually paying any attention to who I'm marrying. I just want to show you the kids thing. So he has children, right? Yes, he does. He has Louis of Aquitaine. And you can choose this. This is a focus for his childhood. Okay? If you don't select it, it will be random, which I don't think you want that to happen to begin with. So, let's see. You can choose Etiquette, which gives him playful and idolent. Humility, which gives him timid and affectionate. Heritage, I think this is used for when he's the wrong culture and religion. Well, I say wrong, different to yours. Faith gives him idolizer. Duty gives him basically +1 stewardship. This gives him +1 learning and +1 stewardship. This gives him +1 intrigue, +1 marital. And this gives him +1 marital and +1 intrigue. So, what does this mean? Well, these are absolutely all new traits to the children. They are children-specific, okay? When you select one of these things, your child gets educated, or no, spends his childhood in that direction, okay? So you want to teach him etiquette. Everyone needs etiquette. This is the second time I smashed my face into the pop filter. It's going to take time to get used to this, by the way. I have a new setup, but don't worry about it. Yes, essentially, it's good to... Everyone needs to have etiquette, right? So let's say we select this. Now, he's going to be raised in that direction during his childhood, okay? His brother might be the opposite. He might be raised in struggle and... no, pride, okay? So they're raised like that. When they grow up, they're going to get the effective traits for that. What happens then? Well, when I say grow up, I don't mean reach adolescence and reach... I don't mean really grow up. When they slightly grow up, when they get a bit older. When they're old enough to be educated, you can still, obviously assign who educates them, but that's not all. See, it used to be kind of stupid where you assign who educates them, and it's completely random what education they get. Based on, they get it based on the guy you assign them to. Or you educate them yourself, and you get to pick 1 or 2 events in their entire childhood. You're educating them, but you're not really having any effect on their lives at all. They're just way too random. Other than the occasional, I started teaching him how to fight with swords. That's more or less it. He gains, the child you educate gains points based on your points. If you have, super high stewardship, he will learn some from you, which is just transferring points. It isn't actually, nothing's really happening. Well, not anymore. Now, you get to pick a course and focus for education for him as well, which basically is hindered or helped by the traits that they gained during their childhood focus. This basically means that you can fully almost... well, not fully, but you can, in great detail, customize what kind of ruler your heir is going to be. All of a sudden, that one annoying vassal killing your son gets a lot more personal, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So, that said, you can then make some fairly powerful rulers as well in terms of points, but, if he's an idiot, then he's an idiot. I can't help you with that. On the other hand, you can give him a significant boost to, let's say, his diplomacy. And make him a very diplomatic ruler and make him basically butter his way with all of your vassals and be accepted by them because of his high diplomacy. Or make him a warrior. Better yet, make his brother a warrior. And make him a mini vassal, a direct vassal of yours, or just keep him around as a commander. And then have him fight all your wars for you because he's a military genius, because his entire life he's been brought up and trained to be a warrior, right? And a commander. Can absolutely do that, and it's not ahistoric at all. You'd expect the king's son to get educated, and you'd expect the king, if he cares about his son and his heir, to have at least some influence on what his kid does. Now you do. And that's, I believe, it for what the children have, or the way the children have been changed. You can also buy favours from the kids. Don't do it, I don't recommend it. Actually, nah, don't do it. I don't recommend it. Moving on. I guess I should mention now, as we go towards the end of the video, what I think about Conclave, and what I think about the Council, and what I think about all these changes. Now that I've explained them in relatively okay detail. By the way, I should mention, if you have any questions about the way the Council works, the way anything, really, if you have any questions about CK2, feel free to ask them down in the comments, and I will give you the answer if I know it. If not, I will look it up and find out and then respond to you. So yeah. What do I think about the game? Well, the state of the game right now is something that you usually hear in MMOs, the state of the game. But yeah, what do I think about it? It's a bit of mix and match. Is that the expression? Maybe. It's a bit of... it's so-and-so, okay? The UI changes, flat out, great. Just no two ways about it. Love the UI changes. The laws, great. I think they're great. The entire... everything you can change, the new laws, even the status of women, despite maybe sounding like I argued slightly against it, I do think it's a positive change, mostly. The alliances and the interaction between characters, great as well, absolutely. Infamy, great, good addition to the game, we needed that. As someone that plays the game quite a lot, and as basically as soon as you reach the rank of king, you have no challenge, you just snowball absolutely everything. Occasionally there's a tricky war or a tricky rebellion, but that's more RNG than an actual challenge. It's just more like the game screwing you over, and then you can either get set back for a couple of dozen years, or you muscle through it and then you move on like nothing happened, really. So, yeah, I think it's a good change. I think that the Infamy system is a good change. What I don't think is that great, we're looking at it. I don't know. I'm not sure about the Council. The Council is one thing I'm not entirely sure about, and I think that's what mostly people are saying on the internet as well. The most negative thing I heard about Conclave is, one, the game performing very slowly in the late game, which I can't really tell because I have a decently good computer and I never had performance issues with CK2, so I'm sorry I can't say yes or no to that. Or sorry, rather I can't confirm or deny that. But the other thing is, some people are displeased about the Conclave because a lot of these mechanics with the DLC are getting shoved down your throat, even if you don't buy the DLC, and even if you deactivate the DLC. So I think that could have been implemented differently. Because then again, you get people saying, oh, I want these mechanics from the Conclave, but I don't have the money to pay for the DLC, so this patch is great for me. And then there's people like myself and a few others that are like, well, maybe I don't want to play with the Council and the Conclave mechanics. I wish I could just turn them off. And yes, you can revert to the old patch, but that's not what I mean. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is you can't please everyone one way or another. So there's going to be someone that says this is great, there's going to be someone that says this is bad. It's just the way the world works. My throat is beginning to hurt quite a lot. I've been talking all day trying to get this microphone working, and I think I didn't do it fully eventually, but well, it sounds like it sounds right now. It's a lot better than what it used to be. So, well, on my old microphone at any rate. Yep, my throat is killing me. I need to end the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care. Bye-bye.